This is another video of what I'm teaching my middle schoolers during our golf unit. I have hula hoops and spots set up all along the gym on both sides. We're still working on putting, so the students are to putt a ball from a spot and get it into the hoop. So it's got to go over the edge of the hoop and inside the hoop. That counts as in the hole. So it's not a very long putt, but it still requires us to hit it correctly with the amount of force that is required and all those things. So we're still working on our form through golf. Additionally, in addition to those things, the main thing is learning how to, I guess the main thing second to putting it correctly, is also learning how to score. So I have a scorecard printed on some cardstock, and then I cut them all in half. Each student has one scorecard and one pencil. And then depending on how many students you have and how many spots and hula hoops, just all equipment, how much equipment you have, you can have groups of 2. Some classes I'm able to do it with groups of 2, some I need 3. And then there's some classes where I can have everyone by themselves. So it just depends on class size. But we have groups of 2 generally with one ball and one club, so they take turns, and then they score each other using the scorecard. So I teach them about parring and scoring and the difference between the two and finding the difference. So for hole number 1, let's just say the par is 3, and then you would putt from a spot into the hula hoop. And let's say you get it in three strokes, then your difference would be even or 0. With middle schoolers, 6th graders got it. So I think they introduced negative numbers around that time. If you were to teach it to someone younger, they might struggle with the negative numbers because of where they are in math. But it went well with my 6th graders, so it should be fine from 6th grade and on. So let's say hole number 2 is a par 4, and then they score a 3 again. Well, then the difference between that would be a -1. So you're 1 under for hole 1 and 2. So let's say you go through the whole thing, par 5, 4, and so on, and you just count your scores for each. This would be -1, this would be -3, and this would be -1. So then you find your total and add them all up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right now I'm 6 under. I'll just write in the total, and then we'll see who has the largest negative number. That would be the winner of that game. Now, one of the things that makes it a little bit more fun is determining the par. So what determines the par for each individual hole? Well, that's where my job comes in. I have a dice, or just one die, and I toss it into the air, and whatever it lands on, that determines each hole's par. So in this case, it would be 1, which is a little bit more challenging, but then once it lands on a number, I call out what par it's going to be. Students then begin trying to putt from their spot, making sure they're using your equipment correctly and safely. So they would putt from the spot. In this case, par is 1, so I'm going to try to get it in the hula hoop, one-handed by the way, into the hula hoop. And I missed, so then I would go and try to get it a second attempt into the hula hoop. So I'd line my feet up, make sure I'm holding the club correctly, and get it into the hula hoop. So that took me 2 tries. So then on my scorecard, I'd write 2, and for a par 1, that would be under 1. No, sorry, that would be +1. So in that case, on my scorecard, the par was 1, and I got it in 2. That would be +1. So then my total would change. Normally, I'd want them to not find their total until the end of them all, but that would be under 5. So once they get the ball into the hula hoop, they trade with the partner if they do have one, and then the partner would then do their attempt. Normally we don't get through all 9 but it just depends on class size, class management, and also class time, how much time is given to you for each class. So if you need 9, that's great. If you can only get to 6, or maybe you need more, you can create a scorecard like this and play this game with your students.